What I have to say is very important, so I'm going to need everyone's full attention. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is a glorious day, and it is a great day for the town of Concord. My name is Stephen Crane. I'm the new town manager. I still get to say that for a little while yet. And on behalf of select board members, Chairman Michael Lawson, Susan, oh my God. Susan Bates, Jane Hotchkiss, Terry Ackerman, and Linda Escobedo, who are all here. I'd like to welcome you to the ribbon cutting for the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, an event that is long in the making. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan Gulliver, the Highway Administrator from SDOT.
All right, thank you, Stephen. And good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for having us here today. This is quite an event. We've had the pleasure of opening up a couple of other segments of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. I'm really happy everybody could join us here today for this latest one. 2.5-mile extension, which is really nice to say is finally done. Every groundbreaking and ribbon cutting is special, but when we also honor our past, it adds additional meaning. And Bruce Freeman was a state representative that led the effort to start this trail and ushered in the original legislation that made it happen. His vision was influential, and for this beautiful facility that stretches for 25 miles through 8 communities, and remembering Mr. Freeman's involvement is important on days like today. Expanding trails and providing meaningful connections has been a huge priority of the Baker-Polito administration, and by adding these latest 2.5 miles to over 150 miles of paved trails since 2015, it has raised our total of rail trails across the Commonwealth to 600 total miles, which is really amazing. So our first speaker today has been involved in advancing thoughtful projects and impactful legislation as both a state representative and now as a state senator. His active participation and advocacy for the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail has played a pivotal role in getting us here today. Please welcome State Senator Mike Barrett.
Wonderful to see the crowd today. The great takeaway is always schedule ribbon cutting on beautiful weather. Okay. I'm here because I'm old enough to have served with Bruce Freeman and to have recognized how enthusiastic he was in an era where we did not have rail trails, hardly any in Massachusetts when Bruce and I first entered the legislature. Everybody was in single occupancy vehicles. Everyone was alone in their cars. There were few alternatives in this state, or at least in this country. There were models elsewhere, but they were still just gleams in the eye of pioneers like Representative Freeman himself and certain of you. There are folks here whom I'm looking at who've really led the way long before the legislature responded, but finally we have, with executive branch involvement and the involvement of your state representatives and state senators. We get it. We finally heard you. You've led the way. We're happy to have followed. This particular segment is especially noteworthy because there are stretches of this trail, and my district includes Chelmsford and runs all the way down to Sudbury, where this path will ultimately stretch. This segment reminds us that rail trails aren't just for driving through lovely surroundings. They are practical means for running errands, for getting together with friends, for taking a laptop to a coffee shop to get some work done. This is an alternative to the high-polluting single-occupancy vehicle. So it stretches here through West Concord, through an urbanized setting where there's shopping and socializing, and it is all the more important that we celebrate all the tasks, all the roles that rail trails play, because we've got a climate crisis. Everyone here knows it, and we're going to address it in part by making sure that each of us can get to where we're going without leaping in the car for lack of alternatives. So this is a happy day for celebrating a future in which routes like this will proliferate across Massachusetts, and I want to thank all of you for having been there early and first. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. So it takes a couple of different partners in order to get a job like this, to get the legislation through and get the money appropriated. And our next speaker is on the other side of that legislative delegation. With her past history in public health, she has a keen understanding of the importance of providing the facilities that help individuals make smart choices. And as the daughter of our small business owners, she appreciates the economic and social benefits that projects like this have on a community. Please welcome State Representative Tammy Gouveia.
Hello, everybody. This is quite an amazing crowd who has come out to help us celebrate the ribbon cutting of this stretch of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. I'm very proud to be here as the state representative for the 14th Middlesex District, which includes Acton, Concord, Carlisle, and Chelmsford. These are all towns that are part of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. I have ridden the rail trail from my side in Acton all the way to Lowell multiple times and really enjoy getting on my bike with my kids and my family to enjoy the recreation that the trail provides. I do think it's quite fitting that we're here to honor Bruce Freeman for his vision to get this trail going, as we are facing a climate crisis, as Senator Barrett indicated, and we're facing a tremendous transportation crisis. Every single day, I hear from constituents the challenges that they face in getting from point A to point B. So us being here today to celebrate the opening of this stretch is critically important to us finding solutions to that transportation crisis and to addressing the climate crisis that we're simultaneously facing. So very proud to be here to celebrate with all of you. And as was indicated in my bio, I do have a background in public health, and I'm incredibly proud and honored to be here to celebrate the role that transportation systems like this, multimodal and bike trails play in recreation and in getting out and enjoying nature and being with other community members, just how critically important that is to our overall health and well-being. So in addition to the challenges that we're facing here in the state, we're facing tremendous impacts on our ability to connect with neighbors. And these are strategies to help us connect with people in other towns, in businesses, and just different places that we want to get to go from point A to point B. So really proud to be here. I'd like to call up Tom Mickelman, who is the president of the Bruce Freeman, Friends of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. No, he won't be speaking, don't worry. Sorry, Tom, I know you have a good sense of humor. We have a citation from the House of Representatives that I'd like to present to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, the Friends of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Friends of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail in recognition of your dedication and success in advocating for the rail trail and getting us to this point where we're opening this segment. Thank you for all that you do. And I also want to thank all of the groups that participate up and down this whole trail, all of the different communities that have representatives who help make this possible. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 27th day of September 2019 at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, signed by Speaker of the House Robert DeLeo and myself, Tammy Gouveia.
Thank you, Representative Gouveia.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you, Representative. You know, this project has had a lot of champions. The entire rail trail has had a lot of champions. And, I know there's a number of them that were unable to be here today, including from our legislative delegation. So I know many of you have worked with Senator Jamie Eldridge on a number of segments. And we are also joined by another champion of this project, Representative Gentile, who's going to say a few words for us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone here today and Bruce Freeman and his family. I can't wait until this trail is completed to Framingham. So I can't wait till we begin and finish the trail in Sudbury and then in Framingham. The legislature put, I think it was $600,000 in the bond bill to purchase the land for the Bruce Freeman in Framingham, and the CPA committee and the town meeting appropriated $400,000 to purchase that section of the trail in Sudbury, and I know Senator Barrett will be helping me get legislation through the Senate to allow every city and town in the Commonwealth to use CPA money for rail trails. But I just want to give a shout out to there's a couple of people from Sudbury that have worked on the Bruce Freeman to get it through Sudbury for more than 10 years, probably closer to 15. Dick Williamson. Dick, thank you. I saw Dick here earlier today, and there's one other person that's really fought long and hard for Bruce Freeman in Sudbury. I didn't see him here today, and I'm sure he'd be here if he could. Len Simons, former selectman. Thank you, Len. So I want to thank you all for being here today, and I can't wait to get on my bicycle and take this trail up to Lowell and come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And before I get to our next speakers, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge some of the people that are here today from our staff, from MassDOT staff, as well as a contractor and engineer and some of our other federal partners. This project was designed by Greenman Peterson, who did a phenomenal job. It was constructed by D.W. White. Again, representatives of both of them are here today, and they really worked hard on this project every day over the last couple of years to make this $6.2 million project a reality. This would also not have been possible without the dedicated management of our District 4 office. That's the region that we're in from the MassDOT side of things. That office is ably led by Paul Stedman, who was unable to be here today. He's at his son's wedding. But he also has some really strong, dedicated staff, some of them who have worked on other segments of this. So I do want to acknowledge the resident engineer, Greg Kwan, who worked so hard on this. Many of you, I'm sure, have worked with him. Kevin Chu and Ann Roach were all part of our construction team. And then I also want to acknowledge our chief engineer, Patty Leavenworth, is with us today. And Patty and I have somewhat of a shared history when it comes to this trail. Her and I, in former jobs, were each district directors. I handled part of the segment that was in Acton, and Patty's office, again, handled this region and the development and construction of the segments here. And then finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our federal partners. Federal Highway is a strong partner with us in all of the projects we do, and Jeff McEwen, who leads the regional office, is here with us today, so I want to thank all of them. So these projects all take partnership on multiple levels. So I do want to thank and acknowledge our local partners with the town of Concord. Their stewardship and partnership, without that, this extension could not have been designed or constructed. And one champion of the project who has been involved in every aspect is the Director of Planning and Land Management. Please welcome Marcia Rasmussen.
Okay. So what a glorious day, and how wonderful to have so many people here to celebrate the official opening of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. 2C. C is for Concord. It's been a long time coming. In thinking about this project, I reflected on my role in getting to this day, and I landed on the word witness. I've been aware of and involved in this project since 1987. When I read the initial feasibility study, I have witnessed what it takes to create and construct a fabulous community asset, and I'd like to give my testimony of gratitude for all the players who have helped to make this happen. H.E. Luckett said, "No one can whistle a symphony. It takes the whole orchestra to play it." In this case, no one person made this happen. It took a wide community of persons working together, helping each other, and/or providing guidance along the path. Let's start with the dreamer, the person who helped crystallize a vision of what a rail trail like this can do for a community, the namesake of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. I did not have the opportunity to meet Representative Freeman from Chelmsford in my nascent years in Concord, but I appreciate his legacy and the advocacy he inspired in the true believers, the members of the Friends of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. I recall an early organizational meeting of the Concord Friends at the home of Bob Armstrong. Was it 2002, Bob? Anyway, the Friends have been strong and vocal advocates for this trail, attending numerous meetings of the Metropolitan Planning Organization to speak in support of the trail, raising funds to supplement studies that were being done, handing out hats, I got mine, to increase awareness, and orchestrating letter writing campaigns to express support. They are the true believers who have kept this project moving forward, and I'm grateful for their grit and determination. The Friends were also responsible for seeking community preservation money to fund the 25% design. No project is complete without facilitators and collaborators. I want to give a shout out to the staff at Mass DOT and the Regional Planning Office, the MAPC. After the 25% design was completed, a next step was required, but I was not familiar with getting the projects listed on the Transportation Improvement Program. I reached out to Mass DOT District 4 staff and MAPC for help and was rewarded with great advice and great guidance. Please pass along my thanks, Frank, to all of District 4 staff. They are excellent. It was suggested that I contact my Acton counterpart, Roland Bartle, to add Phase 2C to Acton's Phase 2A and 2B, the bridge, to strengthen the application for statewide design funds, because now there would be a project that involved 2 regional planning agencies, 2 Mass DOT highway districts, and 4 communities. Thank you, Roland, for being a partner in this endeavor and for taking the lead. Now, a project like the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail requires a lot of community input. The Select Board initially appointed 9 residents to serve as an advisory committee to the Select Board, and members of the committee worked hard to provide a place for residents to provide input, raise concerns, ask questions, and obtain information. I especially want to recognize Judy LaRocca, who organized events for residents to provide input, met with residents on the trail adjacent to their homes, and compiled the information into a spreadsheet, which I continue to use. Judy also worked with Henry Koitman, a Concord resident knowledgeable in all things railroad, to design the historic interpretive panels that you see along the trail. Please note the one that's on the bridge. And then there's the creative thinkers required to address community concerns and issues. Enter Becky Williamson and Matt Kearney, project managers and leading the team from Greenman Peterson. But even great design and engineering teams can't address all the issues without help. Our state representatives provided that help. They were instrumental in this project, facilitating discussions with state officials over some of the finer details. I've witnessed how Senator Michael Barrett coordinated a meeting between the Department of Corrections and town officials to discuss a transfer of land that allowed for construction of a small parking facility on Commonwealth Ave. How Senator Jamie Eldridge ensured additional funds were available for the design and contract drawings for the next phase of the trail, 2B. And how former Representative Corey Atkins facilitated a conversation with the MBTA officials regarding commuter rail trail crossing. We are unique in our rail trail crossing of the commuter rail. I'm grateful for their efforts to help identify solutions. So once the plans are completed, there are still a series of hurdles yet to jump through. Mass DOT project manager David Shedd was expert at coordinating others to get the project advertised. I want to thank David for his patience and guidance throughout the design phase. After the project was finally awarded, in this case to D.W. White Construction Incorporated, the town was on the sidelines because Mass DOT takes responsibility to oversee construction. We could not have asked for a better team. The first construction meeting was held in spring 2017. The trail has been an active construction site for over the past 2 years, although you wouldn't be able to tell residents that. I am so thankful for the Mass DOT resident engineers who were on site throughout construction. Greg Kwan in particular was willing to meet with residents, to hear their concerns, to work with them to address those concerns. Mark Fideli and Mark Kane, also with Mass DOT, were willing to work with the town when there were differences between the plans and what existed on the ground, and what worked. And then they worked with everyone when we realized that the design of the Main Street Commonwealth Ave intersection wasn't working as we had hoped. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are awesome. D.W. White's representative in the field, Tim Kelly, is also amazing to work with. He was so calm and even-tempered despite all the things that can go wrong during a construction project, and they do. You get weather, you get people, and you get materials that are not there, and you have some issues. He identified ways to improve the design. When benches were needed, when we identified that benches needed to be relocated, they found a home near Main Street. And when he realized there were extra pavers, he added them to the bench area. So we have a nice seating area that's going to be easier to maintain. Thank you so much, Tim. A special thank you to former town manager Christopher Whalen, who has been an avid proponent of the rail trail. I'm sorry he could not be here today, but I know he has walked this trail and he has visited with friends along the way. Also thanks to other town staff, former town employees Dan Monahan, Bill Renault, and Chris Olbrut, and current town employees, Rich Rain, Delia Kay, Elizabeth Hughes, Heather Carey, and Nancy Hauscher, both administrative assistants in my office. Also, thanks to the Green Thumbs and the Garden Club for the planting design at the entrance to Junction Park and opposite the park on Main Street. And a big thank you to our partners here in West Concord, Brookside Square, who allowed us to have some reserved parking just for today, John Boynton, who's providing power to a trailer that has a restroom if anybody needs it, down by 30 Baharrel Street, and the Recreation Department for providing that trailer. I'm grateful for all who have been involved in getting to this day. I like this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson: "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." This is a project that has taken patience and perseverance. Thank you. Next up is Stuart Johnstone, West Concord resident, who is also on the board of directors for the Friends of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail and speaking on behalf of the rail trail.
The creation of a rail trail takes patience, and the creation of a great rail trail takes great patience. And the patience has been rewarded with magnificently with what is a community asset that will bring increasingly important benefits for generations to come. One of my occupations has involved writing guidebooks to bike paths, and I've had the pleasure of exploring a great many of them. My favorites are the ones that are able to serve a wide variety of uses, and also the ones that bridge obstacles, such as rivers, railroads, highways. Of course, the ones with beautiful natural scenery, and also the ones that preserve history and bring it back to life. The Bruce Freeman Rail Trail will do all of this and more. It will make important connections, not just between places, but between people and communities in subtle, friendly ways that roads can seldom match. And it'll connect families with nature. It'll connect commuters with fitness. It'll connect us to a more sustainable way to live, as it invites all ages and abilities to leave their cars behind and enjoy the freedom and the many other benefits of active transportation. It'll provide a better choice for how we live our lives. And it's going to be a better choice that will magnify as this trail reaches its goal of once again connecting Lowell and Framingham, as it must. Thanks are due to many people who helped create this new section, to the 400 Concord families who donated back in 2004 the $25,000 to pay for the feasibility study, to Concord, its voters, its leaders, its staff, and many volunteers, including the 30 or so members who served on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee, to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and all the help at the state level, from the State House to the Boston Metropolitan Planning Organization and the Department of Transportation. to GPI and Becky Williamson for their design work, to D.W. White for constructing the trail. We thank all of you for your efforts. And thanks to the 550 members of the Friends of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail who have pushed for this day and who are pushing for future ribbon cuttings elsewhere. You played a crucial role. It's important to remember that the Friends originated 17 years ago from the actions of just one person in this town. Bob Armstrong, would you please raise your hand? We are so grateful to you. Hoping to inspire progress on getting the rail trail built, he decided back in 2002 to hold a meeting at his home. There was a hopeful, determined feeling in the room that night, and the group he formed and led forward took hold in providing the advocacy and the support that all 25 miles of this route really needed and continue to need. This hopefulness and determination that Bob brought together in the Friends of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail remain alive and well. They're as strong as ever. Thank you, Bob, for taking action and sparking so much positive change. The Friends would also like to recognize the extraordinary efforts of Concord's Director of Planning and Land Management, Marcia Rasmussen. Perhaps no one has worked harder for what we're celebrating today. Her professional expertise and her perseverance have been invaluable for this project at each step of the way. And there were many steps of the way. We're very glad to know that her talents are now being applied to Phase 2B, the bridge over Route 2. Marcia, we present this plaque to you with great appreciation for all that you have done and all that you will be doing for the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. Thank you. Finally, the Friends thank all who have helped make this celebration possible. And there were so many. We will conclude with a raffle of gift baskets donated by West Concord merchants. Hopefully, everybody can find their raffle ticket. We know the winners will be very impressed with what they find in their basket. There are 3 baskets. We will call the numbers. If we don't hear anybody shout, we're going to call another number. So make sure you shout. Yeah.
Okay, number 1.
And is everybody ready? It's a long number. It's 579442. Hey, all right.
What?
579442. Number 2, 579395. 579395. Come on forward. Come up, please. And one more. Five 579493. 579493. One more. Is there someone being modest, or shall we pick another number? We'll pick another number. 579474. And another one. 579485. The modesty is overwhelming.
Could you thank Double Power before? Oh, we got a winner. We got a winner.
579-485.
Do you need one more?
I think we're done.
We're done. Okay.
Well, one more thank you to Pedal Power that supplied our chairs and so much more. Pedal Power in Acton. The party is not over. There is also cake. There's ice cream from our own Reasons to be Cheerful.
And a ribbon cutting.
And the ribbon cutting, right. We hope you enjoy. Thank you.